I think they're going to cut rates, and I think they're going to cut rates sooner than people expect, because what's happening is the real rate of interest, ultimately, which is what impacts the economy, keeps increasing as inflation declines.
Billionaire investor Bill Ackman, known for his keen market insights, is stirring up the financial waters with a bold forecast about the Federal Reserve's interest rate plans. Why does this matter to you? Well, if Ackman's right, we could see some significant shifts in the economy that might affect everything from mortgage rates to your investment portfolio. According to swaps market data, there's an 80% chance of a rate cut by May. This isn't just a numbers game. It's about understanding the ripple effects these changes can bring. Bill Ackman isn't just speculating. He's basing his views on deep market analysis. He suggests markets need to prepare for earlier than expected monetary easing. This is a wake-up call to anyone looking to stay ahead in the financial world. So, what can you do with this information? Well, that's what we are going to discuss. But before moving forward, if you're new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you won't miss out on the valuable insights we share in our future videos. Alright, let's first discuss what this means for us on a practical level. When the Fed decides to cut interest rates, they're adjusting the Fed funds target rate downward. This is the rate at which banks lend money to each other overnight, crucial for meeting the Federal Reserve's requirements. This target rate is pivotal because it influences other key rates, including the prime rate, which is the rate banks charge their top customers. Now that we've got a grip on the basics, let's explore why the Fed would cut rates in the first place. The Federal Reserve employs several tools to manage the economy, including open market operations, adjusting the discount rate, setting reserve requirements, and managing interest on reserve balances. The overarching aim of reducing rates is to stabilize prices, keeping inflation in check, and to stimulate economic growth. Lowering financing costs makes borrowing more attractive, encouraging businesses to invest and consumers to spend, thus injecting more activity into the economy. But what are the broader implications of such a policy shift? Reducing interest rates usually leads to more capital flowing into the economy, which can spur growth and vitality in the markets. This sounds great, right? However, there are complexities to consider. Lower rates mean borrowing costs less, which can lead businesses and consumers to increase spending and investing, positive effects that stimulate economic activity. However, if rates drop too low, they can lead to overheated growth. This kind of rapid expansion can cause inflation, eroding the buying power of your dollar. Furthermore, in a low-rate environment, investors might seek out riskier investments to achieve higher returns, altering the risk dynamics of portfolios. And there's a social dimension to consider too. Retirees who rely on interest income might find themselves needing to reduce their spending to preserve their principal, particularly as more baby boomers enter retirement. This demographic shift could lead to a significant impact on the overall economy, as a larger portion of the population becomes more financially conservative. As Bill Ackman suggests, understanding these economic levers can significantly enhance an investor's ability to navigate through volatile markets. His insights are not just about predicting movements, but about preparing us to respond to them effectively. Later in this video, we'll discuss Ackman's recent market moves and what they signal for the future, so don't go anywhere. Overall, the implications of Federal Reserve decisions are far-reaching. They affect everything from your mortgage rates to your investment returns, and even your day-to-day consumer spending. Keep these insights in mind as we continue to navigate through these economically uncertain times. Since March 2022, the Fed has been on a spree of aggressive rate hikes, the fastest we've seen in over 40 years. Despite this, as US inflation began to slow down throughout the year, the Fed hasn't made any moves to cut rates just yet. Now, let's talk about the real impact of these interest rates. Bill Ackman has pointed out that the real interest rates, that's the rates adjusted for inflation, are quite high. Specifically, he's concerned about maintaining rates around 5.5% when inflation is under 3%. This results in a real interest rate that's quite steep, potentially stifling economic growth. Moving on to how Ackman plays the market. Known for his strategic macro bets, Ackman recently made waves with his actions on US Treasuries. By disclosing that his firm had covered its short bet on US Treasuries through a tweet, he significantly influenced market sentiment. This kind of move shows how pivotal major investor actions can be in financial markets. Ackman is quite skeptical about the possibility of a soft landing, where the Fed manages to raise rates without causing a recession. In fact, Ackman warns of the potential for a hard landing, which could see the economy heading into a downturn. He believes that an immediate rate cut could be crucial to mitigate the early signs of economic weakening he's observed. And regarding the future moves and strategies for investors, Ackman's anticipation of an early rate cut is not just a prediction, it's a strategic position. Currently, the market is betting on anywhere from 4 to 6 rate cuts in 2024. But let's pause and consider a scenario. What if the Fed decides not to cut rates at all and maintains the current rate? This possibility could stir up quite a bit of uncertainty. Would the market sell off, remain steady, or could the rally continue despite a rough start to the year? These are critical questions for anyone keeping an eye on their investments. For many investors, the idea of no rate cuts might feel like a major letdown, akin to canceling Christmas. Why? Because rate cuts often stimulate investment and consumer spending by making borrowing cheaper. No cuts could mean continued high borrowing costs, which isn't great news for anyone looking to finance big purchases or grow their businesses. Now let's talk volatility. If the Fed holds rates steady, 2024 could see some dramatic ups and downs in the market. Think multiple swings of 5 to 10%. This is in stark contrast to the more steady market growth we might see if the Fed introduces multiple rate cuts. Here are a few things to keep in mind as we consider these possibilities. The average American's debt climbed to $103,358 in 2023, up 11% from the previous year. Keeping interest rates high this year could significantly impact not just big corporations, but everyday borrowers. This is especially crucial to consider as we're in an election year. Political pressures and the economic well-being of millions of Americans could push the Fed's hand in one direction or another. Bill Ackman has highlighted these issues, noting, "Keeping rates higher for longer will have massive impacts on more than just corporate borrowers." He stresses the importance of understanding how these policies affect the broader economy, especially in sensitive times like these. If the Fed decides against cutting rates, we could be bracing for a hard landing, with increased defaults on debt, more foreclosures, and higher rates of car repossessions, scenarios that could have ripple effects throughout the economy. As we look ahead, it's crucial to keep a close watch on the Fed's decisions. For investors and everyday people alike, these moves could dictate financial strategies and economic outcomes for the next few years. That wraps up our discussion for today on Bill Ackman's bold forecast about potential early Fed rate cuts. We've unpacked what this could mean for the markets, for personal finances, and for the broader economy. Whether you're an investor looking to adjust your portfolio or just trying to make sense of how these changes could impact your daily finances, staying informed is key. If you've enjoyed this video and found it insightful, please give us a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more clear, concise financial analysis. Also, hit the bell icon so you won't miss any of our future updates. We've got plenty more content on the way to help you stay ahead in these unpredictable economic times. Thank you for watching, and remember, knowledge is the best tool when it comes to managing your finances. Take care, and see you in the next video.